They're ridiculous.
They won't let me call myself Her Royal Highness anymore, but I'm going to put it all over my stationery and on the gifts that I give to my friends.
This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on.
That is so beautiful.
No.
She never stops whining.
Megan Markle Googled, is the race card an actual card?
Here's an email that I've been keeping for you.
I have full body chills right now.
This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on. Thank you. Yeah.
That is so beautiful.
No.
Your voice is driving me crazy and I'm about to jump over there and put my fists down your throat.
I think the woke have been asleep.
Oh my gosh, I work so hard.
You're complaining about your hard life, and you're so privileged. It's just so weird.
It was planned from the beginning. I know someone who knows the ex-husband who said she had a vision board with Prince Harry on it. And
Before they met?
Yes.
Let's talk about Meghan Markle. She's a woman who has spent much of her life in the spotlight. Whether you love her or hate her, there's no denying that she's one of the most polarizing figures in the media today. But here's the thing. Is she really misunderstood, or is she just playing a very clever game? Meghan positions herself as a victim, a warrior for social justice, and someone who has been persecuted by the very system that she was once a part of. But when you dig deeper, you start to wonder, is this just part of her calculated brand? Is she merely playing the role of the misunderstood princess to sell a story?
40 minutes into the podcast, this little picture, quite a grainy picture, flashed up, which shows a basket of, homemade preserves with a card on it, HRH, Duchess of Sussex.
They want it both ways. These people were so mean to us and poor us, and we don't want all this attention. And then let me write a book about how much we don't want attention.
I find it a little bit cringe to give a gift to a close friend and sign it Her Royal Highness.
Why even in private? She's using that full title, Her Royal Highness.
I would never refer to myself as Her Royal Highness.
Dan, when you do interviews on your show, do you do the Jamie Kern Lima reactions? Yes. Oh my God, there's something wrong with her.
In this day and age, where every single moment is captured on camera and every word is scrutinized, authenticity is the new currency. And Meghan, whether by choice or by design, has become the face of this new brand of authenticity. She speaks about being misunderstood, about her struggles, about the challenges she faces as a mother, a wife, and a woman who has chosen a path outside of the royal family. But is it genuine, or is it just a well-oiled PR machine at work? The more we hear about Meghan, the more the question arises. How much of what we see is really the truth, and how much is just a carefully crafted narrative?
I just think she's crying for sympathy, playing the victim, when there's nothing to be a victim about, and there's also no sympathy to be granted for this lifestyle that she's chosen to live.
The moment that everything sells out, it doesn't mean that we're done. It means we're working on replenishment and what are the next SKUs and what's the next tranche of products and what's the timing on that, and writing the newsletters and writing the social media captions and making sure that all that feels in line and what's the cadence of it.
In her latest podcast, Meghan Markle claims that it's so nice not to wear makeup. And sure, there's something refreshing about that. We all love a good no makeup day, right? But let's not kid ourselves here. Meghan's makeup-free look is still one that any beauty brand would die for. She has the perfect hair, the flawless skin, and that air of effortless beauty. So, while she may be speaking to an audience about the importance of being authentic and not relying on makeup, it's hard not to notice how perfect she still looks. Without makeup, of course. If you're going to market yourself as someone who is real, then looking like you've stepped off a magazine cover while claiming to be completely natural raises some eyebrows. It's easy to see why many critics argue that Meghan's entire brand feels inauthentic. She's selling an image of herself as an everyday woman, someone we can all relate to, someone who has been victimized and wronged.
She is doing a cooking show on Netflix. I only watched 5 seconds of it, and I thought she was going to cut her wrist by trying to zest a lemon. This girl has never been in the kitchen in her life.
So when she's trying to sell these kind of, I'm sorry, but crappy, cheap tats to middle America.
Allegedly wearing no makeup. Meanwhile, she's got like the perfect blowout. Like she's completely camera ready. And she also is pretending like she's crying. There isn't a tear in sight. It's an actor's trick.
But the reality is, it feels more like a marketing strategy than a genuine attempt to connect with people. After all, it's easy to sell the idea of authenticity when you look like a cover model. No makeup needed. Meghan's tearful moments in her latest podcast have become a point of contention. She shared some deeply personal stories about her life, her struggles, and the pressures she faces. But here's the thing. Meghan's tears didn't exactly feel like spontaneous emotional outpourings. They seemed too controlled, too perfect. It's hard to shake the feeling that these tears were part of the act.
If I don't have meetings in the morning, then I try to do school drop-off. They're at 2 different schools. So from 6:30 in the morning on drop-off mornings for me, I'm not home till 9.
During promotion for Suits, she was joking with one of the photographers that she can cry on command. Left eye, go. And then you watch a tear fall down her face, and then she starts cackling because she's so proud of herself.
She has this really famous thing where she says 1 tap left eye and she can make herself cry on demand.
After all, Meghan has a history of being able to cry on command. She once bragged about her ability to produce tears with a simple tap of her left eye. Now, I'm not saying people don't cry in real life, but when you've been trained in the art of acting, when you've spent years learning how to manipulate emotions for the screen, it's hard to take those tears at face value. The fact that she's being hailed for her vulnerability in a podcast, while her critics argue it's all an act, shows just how divided the opinions on Meghan really are. Is she showing us her true self, or is she giving us the same rehearsed performance we've seen countless times before?
They kind of f***ed up their whole thing, went way too hard on we're victims, and they assessed the mood of their generation and America correctly in that we are lovers of victimhood.
Yeah.
But America did finally find a way to say, you know what, we love victims, but you two, we've just had a little too much of it.
Meghan Markle is often hailed as a champion of social causes, using her platform to advocate for gender equality, racial justice, and more. But for many critics, there's a glaring issue with this narrative. How can someone who lives in a mansion, has access to private jets, and spends most of their life in a bubble of luxury really speak to the struggles of everyday people? It's one thing to advocate for change, but it's another thing entirely when you're living a life that most people can't even begin to imagine. The woke persona that Meghan tries to embody doesn't quite line up with her reality. While it's important to stand up for causes you believe in, Meghan's critics argue that she's been quick to embrace the title of victim, even while she enjoys a lifestyle that's far removed from the struggles of most people. Her critics have called her out for using her platform to push a brand, not to advocate for real change. And while there's nothing wrong with being successful,
She didn't make the Times list of cool people, but she did get invited there because her agency probably bought her access. This is one of the goofiest things ever.
Because I think it speaks to the tiny moments of joy that are so effortless and just create a little bit of magic that we're all craving.
What in the hell word salad is this?
Tiny little flower petals that are dried. I started putting them on salads. I started putting them on scrambled eggs. Level of charm that you find people have when they see these tiny little dried petals is something I can't fully wrap my head around, but I appreciate.
it's hard to ignore the fact that Meghan's woke image may just be another tool to further her personal brand, rather than a genuine desire to make a difference. Let's talk about Harry for a moment. Meghan often speaks about him in glowing terms, painting him as this perfect chivalrous figure who has saved her from the royal family and all of its dysfunction. She describes him as a knight in shining armor, slaying dragons and rescuing her from the clutches of the royal machine. But is this really the case? Or is it just another carefully constructed piece of the story? After all, it was Meghan who made the decision to step away from the royal family. It was Meghan who brought Harry into the fold, convincing him to leave behind the life he knew and embark on a new journey with her. And now it seems like she's positioning him as this hero who's rescuing her from a life she chose to leave behind. The narrative that Meghan has created, with Harry as the ever-loyal protector, raises questions. Is she really a damsel in distress, or is this all just part of the fairy tale? Meghan Markle has carefully crafted a brand around herself, one that revolves around family, motherhood, and wholesome living. She's positioned herself as a down-to-earth woman who bakes cookies for her family, makes tea, and enjoys the simple pleasures of life. But if you've watched any of her recent projects, you'll quickly realize that there's a mismatch between her image and her reality.
She married for money. It's very clear she bagged the elephant. She was thrilled she became a, quote, princess.
I mean, Meghan did claim that before dating Harry, she never Googled him, and she said she didn't know much about the royal family.
Take her Netflix cooking show, for example. The first few seconds had me questioning if she even knew what a lemon zester was. It was almost painful to watch as she fumbled around in the kitchen, trying to look like a domestic goddess. But here's the problem. It's hard to sell this wholesome lifestyle when it's clear that Meghan has never actually lived it. The disconnect between the brand she's selling and the life she's actually living makes it difficult to connect with her on a personal level. It's hard to relate to someone who is constantly trying to sell an image that doesn't quite add up. Meghan Markle's rise to fame has been nothing short of extraordinary. She's gone from a relatively unknown actress to one of the most talked about women in the world. But with all the fame and success, is it really worth it? It's easy to look at her life and think, wow, she's got it all. But the truth is, fame comes at a cost. Meghan's quest for relevance has led her to sign multi-million-dollar deals with Spotify, Netflix, and other major brands. But have these deals really panned out? Her Spotify podcast got axed, her Netflix series flopped, and her brand partnerships haven't exactly been the game changers she hoped for. It's clear that Meghan is trying to carve out a space for herself in the entertainment and business world. But is she truly succeeding, or is she just clinging to the last remnants of her royal connection? Meghan and Harry have made no secret of their disdain for the media and the royal family. They've complained about being hounded by paparazzi, about the pressure of public life, and about the lack of privacy. But then they turn around and release a constant stream of content for public consumption. From podcasts to books to Netflix documentaries, Meghan and Harry seem to have no problem putting their private lives out there for the world to see. This contradiction, wanting privacy while simultaneously sharing every detail of their lives, has become one of the most glaring hypocrisies of their public personas. If they truly wanted privacy, why continue to profit from their personal stories? It seems like they want the best of both worlds, the privacy of a normal life and the wealth and fame that comes with being public figures. But is it possible to have both? Or are they simply using their royal ties to build a brand? Meghan Markle can't seem to catch a break. Whether it's her Time 100 appearance, her podcast, or her latest public statements, she's been roasted from all sides. Critics argue that her entire narrative is self-focused, always tying back to her struggles, her brand, and her journey. Even her emotional moments feel like they're part of a performance, carefully orchestrated to tug at the heartstrings of her audience. But what's even more frustrating is how she's managed to turn every criticism into a marketing opportunity. It's almost as if she's perfected the art of turning negative press into a platform to promote her brand. And while some people buy into it, others see right through it. The question remains, is Meghan really opening up about her life, or is she just spinning another PR narrative to sell more products? So what's the final verdict on Meghan Markle? Is she the misunderstood victim she claims to be? Or is she simply a master at manipulating the public's perception of her? It's hard to say for sure, but one thing is clear. Meghan's journey is far from over. She's created a brand, and she's working tirelessly to maintain it. Whether or not she's being truthful about her struggles is still up for debate, but it's hard to ignore the fact that she's profiting from every piece of her story. As her saga continues to unfold, we're left with one question. Is it all an act, or is there some truth to her narrative? Maybe we'll never know for sure, but as long as Meghan and Harry are in the spotlight, we'll continue to question the authenticity of everything they do. After all, when you've built an empire based on your story, it's hard to separate the truth from the performance.